most people believe that becoming rich begins with earning a high salary. They imagine that wealth belongs to people with powerful careers, successful businesses, large investments, or extraordinary opportunities. They look at their own income and quietly tell themselves, "I cannot become wealthy because I do not earn enough." But this belief is one of the most dangerous financial stories society tells us. Because wealth is not created only by how much money you earn. Wealth is created by what you do with the money you earn, how long you allow it to work, and how intelligently you build your life around it. A low salary can make life more difficult. We should not pretend otherwise. When income is limited, every decision matters more. Unexpected expenses can create stress. Saving can feel slow. Progress can seem invisible, but a low salary does not automatically create a poor future. Your salary is not your destiny. It is only a measurement of what your current job is paying you at this moment in your life. Yet many people look at that number and treat it like a permanent prediction of their future. They see a small paycheck and immediately assume that their dreams must also become small. They believe that because they are not earning a lot today, they can never build wealth, achieve freedom, or create a better life. But this is a mistake. Your current income may describe your present situation, but it does not have the authority to define your future. A salary is a number. Your potential is a process. Every person begins from a different starting point. Some people are born into financial advantages. Others begin with limited resources, fewer opportunities, or difficult circumstances. It would be dishonest to pretend that everyone has the same journey, but the starting point is not the same thing as the destination. A person may begin with a low income and still develop valuable skills, stronger habits, better decisions, and new opportunities over time. The future is not created in one dramatic moment. It is shaped through the decisions you repeat when nobody is watching. One of the most dangerous beliefs is the belief that your job title is your identity. If you earn a low salary, you may begin to think of yourself as a low-value person. You may compare yourself to people who earn more and conclude that they are more intelligent, more capable, or more deserving of success. But income and human value are not the same thing. Your salary reflects the current economic value of a particular role in a particular environment. It does not measure your ability to learn, adapt, grow, or become something greater. A person can be underpaid today and highly valuable tomorrow because they decided to develop themselves. The world changes constantly. Industries disappear. New technologies emerge. Entire careers are transformed. Skills that were once rare become common, while new skills suddenly become extremely valuable. This means that the person who is willing to keep learning has an advantage over the person who believes their current situation will never change. Your salary may be low because your current skills are limited, because your industry pays less, because your location offers fewer opportunities, or because you have not yet discovered where your abilities can create the greatest value. None of these conditions have to remain permanent. This is why learning becomes one of the most powerful forms of wealth. When you learn a new skill, you are not simply collecting information. You are increasing the number of opportunities available to you. You may learn communication, sales, technology, writing, design, marketing, programming, management, or another skill that can solve valuable problems. The more problems you can solve, the the more possibilities you create for your future. A person who continuously improves may begin with a small salary, but gradually become capable of earning far more than they once believed possible. But growth requires patience. Many people want immediate results. They learn something for a few weeks, do not see a dramatic change, and give up. They forget that a skill is like a muscle. It becomes powerful through repeated use. The first months of improvement may feel invisible. You may study while others are relaxing. You may practice while others are spending. You may continue working toward a future that nobody else can see. But the effort is building something inside you that can eventually change your external circumstances. Your income can also improve when your thinking improves. If you believe that your only option is to work harder at the same job forever, you may never search for new opportunities. But when you begin asking better questions, your possibilities expand. What skills are growing in demand? What problems do people need solved? What can you learn in your free time? What additional service could you provide? What kind of person would you need to become to earn more? These questions shift your attention away from helplessness and toward possibility. This does not mean that everyone can become wealthy instantly or that financial success is guaranteed. Life contains circumstances that are outside your control, but accepting that reality does not mean surrendering your power. You may not control your current salary, but you can often influence your skills. You may not control the opportunities available today, but you can prepare yourself for the opportunities that appear tomorrow. You may not control where you begin, but you can make decisions that influence where you go next. A low salary can also teach lessons that high income sometimes hides. When resources are limited, you are forced to understand the difference between needs and wants. You learn that every financial decision has consequences. You become more aware of waste. If you use these lessons wisely, they can become part of your financial strength. Someone who earns a large amount but spends everything may be less secure than someone who earns less but consistently saves, learns, and builds. The size of your income matters, but your relationship with money matters too. Do not wait until you earn more money to begin acting like someone who is building a better future. Begin with the money you have. Begin with the time you have. Begin with the knowledge you have. The habits you develop while earning a small salary can remain with you when your income increases. If you learn discipline now, you will have discipline later. If you learn to waste every increase in income, more money will not automatically solve your problems. Your current salary is a snapshot, not a prophecy. It shows where you are standing today, but it cannot reveal every skill you will learn, every person you will meet, every opportunity you will discover, or every decision you will make in the years ahead. Your future income may come from a career change, a business, a side project, an investment, or a skill you have not even begun learning. The possibilities are not unlimited, but they are greater than the narrow story you tell yourself when you believe that your present circumstances are permanent. The most important shift happens when you stop asking, "How much do I earn now?" and begin asking, "How much value can I learn to create?" That question changes your focus. Instead of seeing yourself as trapped by a number, you begin seeing yourself as a person capable of development. You stop waiting for someone else to rescue your future and begin preparing yourself to create new possibilities. You may have a low salary today, You may have financial challenges. You may feel behind compared to others. But being behind is not the same as being finished. Your story is still being written through your choices, your habits, your learning, and your courage to keep moving forward. Your salary is only one fact about your life. It is not the complete definition of who you are, and it is certainly not the final answer to what you can become. Building wealth is not always about earning a huge amount of money. For many people, it begins with learning how to manage the money they already have. A person can earn a large salary and remain financially trapped if every dollar disappears through unnecessary spending, debt, and poor decisions. Another person may earn a modest income and gradually build financial security because they understand discipline, patience, and the power of consistent choices. Wealth is often created quietly, through decisions that may appear small in the moment, but become powerful when repeated over many years. Discipline is one of the most important financial skills because money constantly creates temptation. Every day you are surrounded by messages telling you to buy something new, upgrade something you already own, or spend money to feel successful. Society often teaches people to display wealth before they actually possess it. A person may purchase expensive things to appear successful, while having no savings and carrying financial stress behind the appearance. But real wealth does not need to announce itself. It is often found in the money that has been saved, invested, and protected from unnecessary spending. Smart financial decisions begin with understanding where your money is going. Many people work hard to earn money, but never take the time to study their own spending habits. They know their salary, but they do not know how much disappears through small purchases every week. A coffee here, an online subscription there, an unnecessary purchase made out of boredom, and a meal bought simply because planning was inconvenient may not seem important individually. But repeated spending can quietly consume a large part of your income. When you begin paying attention, you gain something valuable: control. The purpose of a budget is not to punish yourself. It is to give your money direction. Without a plan, money often flows toward whatever is most tempting at the moment. With a plan, you decide in advance what your money should accomplish. Some of it may cover necessities. Some may be used for enjoyment. Some may be saved for emergencies. Some may be invested in your future. The exact numbers will be different for every person, but the principle remains the same. Your money should serve your goals instead of disappearing without purpose. One of the most powerful habits is learning to pay yourself first. When people receive their income, they often pay everyone else before thinking about their own future. Bills are paid, entertainment is purchased, shopping is done, and whatever remains is supposed to become savings. The problem is that there is often nothing left. Saving becomes something that happens only if the month goes perfectly. But life rarely goes perfectly. A smarter approach is to treat saving as an important responsibility rather than an optional activity. Even a small amount saved consistently can begin creating a financial foundation. The amount may seem insignificant at first. You may look at your savings and think that it is not enough to change your life. But wealth is not built only by the size of the first contribution. It is built by the habit of continuing. The first step proves that you can begin. The second step proves that you can continue. Over time, the habit becomes more valuable than the original amount because it changes your behavior. You become someone who automatically thinks about the future before spending everything in the present. Smart decisions also require understanding the difference between something that makes you feel rich and something that actually makes you financially stronger. A purchase may provide immediate pleasure, but that pleasure may disappear quickly. An investment in education, a useful skill, or a productive asset may not feel exciting in the same way, but it can create benefits long after the original decision. This does not mean that you should never enjoy your money. Life is not meant to become a punishment where every purchase creates guilt. The goal is balance. Enjoy some of what you earn while making sure that your entire future is not sacrificed for temporary satisfaction. Debt is another area where discipline becomes extremely important. Debt can make people feel as though they are living a lifestyle they cannot truly afford. It allows you to enjoy something today while requiring your future income to pay for it tomorrow. Some forms of debt may be used carefully for productive purposes, but unnecessary debt can create a heavy burden. When too much of your future income is already committed to past decisions, your freedom becomes smaller. You may work hard every month, but feel that your money belongs to everyone except you. This is why financial discipline is really about freedom. Every unnecessary expense you avoid can create more choices later. Every debt you reduce can make your future income more available. Every skill you develop can increase your opportunities. Every amount you save can create a little more protection. These decisions may feel slow, but they are gradually reducing your dependence on circumstances that you cannot control. You also need patience because wealth rarely grows according to the speed of modern entertainment. People are used to immediate results. They watch something instantly, receive messages instantly, and expect success to appear quickly. But financial growth often moves slowly. You may save for months before noticing a major difference. You may invest in your skills for years before reaching a new level of income. You may make responsible decisions while your friends appear to be enjoying more luxurious lifestyles. This is where many people abandon their plans. They compare their quiet progress to someone else's visible spending. But appearance is not evidence of wealth. Someone may look financially successful while being deeply stressed by debt. Another person may look ordinary while quietly building a strong financial future. You cannot always see the difference from the outside. That is why your financial decisions should be based on your goals, not on the lifestyle other people display. The smartest financial decisions are often boring. Saving regularly is boring. Tracking expenses is boring. Waiting before making a major purchase is boring. Learning a skill after a long day of work can be difficult. But the fact that something is boring does not make it unimportant. In fact, many of the most powerful habits in life are repetitive. Physical strength comes from repeated training. Knowledge comes from repeated learning. Financial strength comes from repeated decisions that protect and grow your resources. Discipline also means understanding that your future self is a real person who will have to live with today's decisions. When you spend everything today, your future self receives fewer options. When you save and build, your future self receives more possibilities. You are constantly sending something forward in time. Your decisions today become the circumstances you experience later. This means that financial discipline is not about denying yourself forever. It is about refusing to sacrifice every future possibility for immediate comfort. You do not need to make perfect decisions. Nobody does. You may make mistakes. You may spend money unwisely. You may choose the wrong investment or delay your progress. The important thing is to learn rather than remain trapped by the mistake. One poor decision does not have to define your financial life. What matters is the direction of your repeated choices. The person who builds wealth is often not the person who discovers one secret trick. It is the person who learns to make slightly better decisions again and again. They spend less than they earn, they save consistently, they develop valuable skills, they avoid unnecessary debt. They invest with patience. They resist the pressure to impress people who do not know their financial reality. They understand that wealth is not created by one moment of motivation, but by a system of behavior. Your income matters, but your decisions determine what your income becomes. Money can become stress, debt, and temporary pleasure, or it can become savings, skills, opportunities, and freedom. The choice is not always easy, and circumstances will sometimes make it difficult, but every time you make a thoughtful decision with your money, you are building more than a bank balance. You are building control over your future. The goal is not to become obsessed with money. The goal is to understand money well enough that it does not control your entire life. When you build discipline, you become less vulnerable to every financial emergency. When you make smart decisions, you create more choices. When you consistently protect a portion of what you earn, you begin transforming your income into something that can support your future. Wealth is often built in silence, through ordinary decisions repeated for an extraordinary amount of time. The process may not look impressive at the beginning, but the person who remains patient, disciplined, and intentional eventually discovers that small decisions can create a very different life. The money you save, the debt you avoid, the skills you develop, and the opportunities you create all become part of a larger financial foundation. The future is not built by what you wish for, it is built by what you repeatedly choose. Increasing your value, your income, and your financial freedom begins with understanding one important truth. Your future income is not always limited to what you earn today. Many people look at their current salary and assume that it is the maximum amount they can ever make. They believe that because their job pays a certain amount now, their financial future must remain connected to that number forever. But your current income is only a reflection of the value your present situation is rewarding. As you learn, improve, adapt, and become capable of solving more valuable problems, your opportunities can change. The world pays people for value. This does not mean that every valuable person automatically becomes rich, because many factors influence income. Location, opportunity, education, economic conditions, and access to resources all matter. But in general, the more difficult and valuable problems you can solve, the more opportunities you create for yourself. This is why increasing your value is often more powerful than simply demanding a higher salary. Instead of only asking, "How can I get paid more?" begin asking, "What can I learn to do that creates more value for other people?" This question can completely change the direction of your life. When you focus on becoming more valuable, you stop waiting for someone else to recognize your potential. You begin developing the skills that make recognition more likely. You study, you practice, you observe people who are already successful in areas you want to understand. You learn from your mistakes. You become better at communicating, thinking, creating, organizing, selling, managing, building, or solving problems. Each improvement increases the number of ways you can contribute. Many people underestimate the power of a single useful skill. They believe that they need to master everything before they can make progress. But you do not need to know everything. You need to become good at something that matters. A person who can communicate clearly can create opportunities. A person who can solve technical problems can create opportunities. A person who can understand customers, organize teams, create content, design solutions, teach others, or improve systems can create opportunities. Valuable skills can become bridges between where you are and where you want to go. The challenge is that skill development requires time. In a world that constantly promises quick success, many people become impatient. They want to learn something in a few days and immediately earn a large income. When the results do not appear quickly, they assume that the skill is not worth learning. But meaningful ability usually takes repetition. You become valuable by doing the work repeatedly, studying what you do not understand, and improving the quality of your results. The person who continues after the excitement disappears often becomes more capable than the person who constantly jumps from one idea to another. Increasing your income also requires you to think beyond one source of money. A job can provide stability, experience, and a foundation, but depending entirely on one income source can limit your financial options. This does not mean that everyone needs to start a business or work every hour of the day. It means that you should become curious about the different ways your skills can create value. Perhaps you can offer a service. Perhaps you can teach something. Perhaps you can create a product. Perhaps you can develop a side project. Perhaps you can use your knowledge to help someone solve a problem. The important thing is to begin with value rather than money. If your only question is, how can I make money quickly? You may become attracted to shortcuts and empty promises. But if your question is, what problem can I solve? You begin thinking more intelligently. Money is often the result of creating something that people need, want, or appreciate. The more effectively you solve a real problem, the more opportunities you may create. Your income can also increase when you become better at communicating your value. Some people possess useful skills but struggle to explain what they can do. They work hard but remain invisible. Learning to communicate is therefore a powerful form of financial education. You need to know how to present your ideas, explain your results, build trust, and show people the benefits of your work. A valuable skill that nobody understands may not create as many opportunities as a valuable skill that is clearly communicated. This is why communication is connected to financial freedom. If you can explain ideas, negotiate, build relationships, and communicate effectively, you become more adaptable in different environments. You can move between opportunities more easily. You can collaborate with people. You can learn from others. You can make your abilities visible. The ability to communicate does not replace competence, but it allows competence to travel further. Financial freedom also requires understanding the difference between earning more and keeping more. Increasing your income is powerful, but if every increase immediately becomes new spending, your financial situation may not improve. Many people receive a raise and quickly upgrade their lifestyle. They move into a more expensive home, buy more expensive products, take on larger payments, and create new obligations. Their income rises, but their freedom does not. They have simply built a more expensive life that requires them to continue earning more. A better approach is to allow some of your increased income to strengthen your foundation. When you earn more, you can improve your living situation, enjoy more experiences, and support the people you care about. But you can also increase your savings, reduce debt, invest in your skills, and build assets. This is how additional income becomes additional freedom instead of additional pressure. Financial freedom is not necessarily about never working again. For many people, work can provide purpose, creativity, social connection, and personal satisfaction. Financial freedom is more about having choices. It means that money does not control every decision you make. It means you can consider opportunities based on their value, rather than accepting every situation simply because you need immediate income. It means that an unexpected problem does not completely destroy your stability. The road toward this freedom is built by increasing your capacity. Your capacity includes your ability to earn, save, invest, learn, adapt, and make intelligent decisions. When you increase these abilities, you become stronger financially even before your bank balance becomes impressive. You become someone who can recover from setbacks more effectively because you possess knowledge and skills that can create new opportunities. This is why you should never stop developing yourself. The world does not remain still. Industries change. Technology changes. Consumer behavior changes. New opportunities appear while old opportunities disappear. A person who refuses to learn may become less valuable over time, while a person who continues adapting may discover new paths. The future belongs to people who can remain curious. You do not need to chase every trend. You do not need to learn every new technology. You do not need to become a completely different person, but you should remain willing to ask whether your current skills will continue to serve you in the future. If not, begin developing new abilities before circumstances force you to change. The process may feel uncomfortable. Learning something new often makes you feel inexperienced. You may compare yourself to people who have been practicing for years. You may make mistakes and feel embarrassed, but being a beginner is temporary. If you remain consistent, your ability can grow. Every expert was once unfamiliar with the skill they now possess. Your financial future may change when you change the value you bring to the world. This does not mean that money is the only measure of success. It is not. But learning to create value can give you more opportunities to support yourself, your family, and the goals that matter to you. Your skills can become tools. Your knowledge can become an asset. Your experience can become a foundation for new possibilities. The most powerful question you can ask yourself is not, "Why am I not earning more?" It is, "What can I become capable of doing that I cannot do today?" That question places your attention on growth. It reminds you that your current abilities are not the final version of yourself. You can learn, you can practice, you can improve, you can become more useful, more adaptable, and more prepared. Your income may increase when your value increases. Your freedom may increase when you learn to manage that income wisely. And your future may become stronger when you stop waiting for perfect conditions and begin building with the opportunities already available to you. You do not need to know exactly where every step will lead. You need to keep becoming the kind of person who can recognize and use better opportunities when they appear. Financial freedom is not created only by earning more money. It is created by becoming more capable, more disciplined, and more independent over time. Increase your knowledge, increase your skills, increase the value you can create, increase the amount of income you can keep and use intelligently. With every improvement, you expand the number of possibilities available to your future self. You may begin with a low salary, limited experience, and few opportunities. But your current circumstances do not have to remain the same. Your abilities can grow, your income can change, and your choices can expand. The person you become through learning and disciplined action may eventually be capable of creating opportunities that your present self cannot yet imagine. Growth begins when you stop measuring your future only by what you earn today and start investing in what you are capable of becoming. So if your salary is low, do not automatically conclude that your dreams are too large. Perhaps your first goal is not to become rich. Perhaps your first goal is to become more disciplined than your income, then more skilled than your current position, then more valuable than your current job can measure, then more independent than your past self ever imagined. Wealth is not created by wishing for a different life. It is created by consistently using the life you have to build the life you want. You may begin with little, but little invested with patience can become much. You may begin with a low salary, but a low salary does not mean a low future. The question is not only how much money enters your life. The deeper question is, how much of what enters your life can you transform into freedom? Because the person who learns to build wealth with little may become far more powerful than the person who earns a lot, but understands nothing about money. Start where you are, use what you have, learn what you do not know, spend with intention, save consistently, build skills, create opportunities, give time a chance to work, and never allow your current income to convince you that your future has already been decided. Your salary is only where the story begins. It does not have to be where the story ends.